Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about anxiety in our children. And the reason I chose this topic is because recently my son had a friend over for a play date. And hi everyone who's coming in. So my son had a play date over with this boy, and he's such a sweet kid. We got to talking, and he started telling me that he's a really good student. We started talking about his school, and then he started sharing with me that. Thank you for the hearts. Then he started sharing with me that he's really struggling with anxiety, and this is a 6th grader. So I got to thinking, we started talking about anxiety, and I just kind of wanted to understand him a little more. And children are very practical, like tangible people. So I asked him, and I want you guys to ask this to your kids as well. If you had 10 marbles, and you could only put them in certain jars of emotions, and one of those jars was anxiety, how many marbles would you put in that jar? He told me he would put about 7 marbles before a test and the night before. He can't sleep at night sometimes. He tosses and turns. He's really anxious. So it was really like eye-opening. He just put all 7 in the anxiety jar. And then I asked him again, now imagine you have these 10 marbles, okay? And you're putting them now not in emotions, but in likelihood. You have 3 jars. In the first one, the likelihood of you doing really well on this test. In the second jar, the likelihood of you barely passing. And in the third jar, the likelihood of you failing. Okay? So he said to me, and get this. Okay, so he had 7 marbles in anxiety. So he said to me, I would put about 8 marbles that I'm going to do really well because I've done well in the past. And I had to tease that out of him. He didn't want to put 8 right away. I had to ask him, well, how'd you do in your previous tests? How'd you do in your previous scores and report cards? He said to me, I would put 8 marbles in the I'm going to do really well. Now he has 2 marbles left. I would put 1 in the pass, barely, and 1 in the total failure. And I said to him, does that make sense to you that you put 1 marble in total failure, but you put like 7 or like a large amount of marbles in like the stress that you're gonna fail with that 1 marble? Shouldn't you maybe put just 1 marble for that, for emotions? So he said, you know what, it's really not the 1, it's the fact that it's so big. In my head, that 1 marble, this is very eye-opening for me as an adult to hear this because we also suffer so with anxiety. And he said, and it's so true, how many of us are dealing with, it's not the severity of it, but it's the magnitude that it's so close to him. He's just focused just on that 1 marble in the failure, and that's all he sees. And that's why he put so many marbles in anxiety in that jar. So we started sharing a little bit more, and he understood it doesn't make sense, but he said, I'm not going to change just because I understand that it doesn't make sense. I still can't change that about myself. I'm still worried. So I started thinking about what has helped my son with anxiety. Hi, Marta. I have to give a shout out to my cousin, Marta. Hi. And thank you everyone who's here watching. Okay, so we're talking about anxiety, and I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. As a child, I must have missed like almost every Friday in 2nd grade because the first day of school, the teacher said, we're going to have a test every Friday in Hebrew. And that was it. That was like the world just fell on my shoulders and I couldn't hold it up. And every Friday I got really sick. Every Friday I had a stomach ache. Every Friday I had a headache. I couldn't get out of bed. My mother every Friday would just let me sleep because she thought that's, she's just doing me, she's a sweet mom. She was like, okay, you need a rest. She understood something was wrong, but I was so scared. It was like a big dinosaur. And how many of us are dealing with that, right? The big stress, the anxiety. If you don't deal with it as children, it just comes and haunts you as adults. So anyway, yeah, for the whole year I was out. Didn't really learn much. Now my son had a lot of anxiety too. And I started taking this course in how to deal with anxiety with Rachel Shaul. One of the things she said was visualization. And this is something I'm going to share with you that you could do as a practical tool for your child. And it's helped my son. Imagine, okay, this is actually based off of cognitive behavioral therapy. The cognitive part is what we're going to talk about, and the behavior is actually following through with the action of facing your fear, whatever it is, your test, you're going to school, not just sleeping at home like I did. So the cognitive part is, so the night before the test, right? Help your child breathe, relax, take him to a quiet spot, maybe by his bed where he usually relaxes, and just use your calm voice and just no pressure. Close your eyes. We're going to play a game. We're going to imagine that you are just in a very good place right now. You're in class, right? Not a good place. But imagine that you're in class and we're going to create a really beautiful vision for you. And just recreate the fear that he's feeling in the opposite way. Instead of the fear, create it like a fantasy. So he's not only passing, the teacher says, you are doing amazing, and I'm going to point you out to the whole entire class as an example of what it is to do a good job well done. And my son actually said, I can't believe you. I just, like, he was rejecting that thought. And I said, okay, we're going to do it again until you believe me. And so he started believing me right away, because he was like, when are you getting out of my room? But all kidding aside, he actually said it helped him a lot. And he's actually taught himself to use this technique to help himself calm down. And whether you're a child or a mom of a child or you're an adult, we all have to deal with this kind of anxiety-ridden world where it's actually like so imperative that we teach our children and we teach ourselves how to calm ourselves and face the world through a guided imagery of like a more positive way of looking at the situation. We could all do that. It's just a matter of training our thought differently. And it helps if you have somebody who you trust, like a parent, like, you know, doing it for the kid, to help teach them how to do that. Okay? So that's the cognitive part. And the behavior is actually the following day that he actually goes to school, you know, that he can't just run away from class because he doesn't want to face the stress of the class. If we don't teach our children how to deal with anxiety, a lot of times they can grow up with like self-treatment type of ways that are unhealthy, right? Drugs, alcohol, the wrong kind of focus for themselves to kind of ignore the stress, addictions or whatever. So it's really important that we, as moms, talk to our kids and just like no shame, no judgment if they want to share, and just bring that out of them. And the earlier we start, the better it is, because we can help secure their mind. The amazing thing about children is they believe. They believe what you tell them. They're really very gullible people. Most adults too, so, especially if you're telling them nice things. But they believe you. So it's really not that hard to kind of push that agenda of like, you're going to do well. Let's visualize an actual event of you doing well. Anyway, it was so nice talking to you guys. And I would love to hear if any of you have tried this. So if you did, let me know. Give me a holler or a comment or anything, because I enjoy reading your comments. Or a heart, thank you, whoever that was. All right, Marta, I love you. All right, have a wonderful night, everybody. And I hope your week is filled with less anxiety and more love, and just embrace the goodness that is around you. Okay, guys? Anna said she's going to try. Me too. All right. Bye. Thank you, Zoya. Bye.